Welcome to our JoyLux Happy Hour. Susan and I are thrilled to have you here. Our mission at JoyLux is really to help women live their best, most empowered lives. And one of the things we learned very quickly is that women aren't talking about really, really personal issues despite the tremendous effect they're having on our lives. So that's when we went in search of brilliant minds to educate us all and to get us talking about the common occurrences that we're all having. So tonight we're thrilled to bring you back, by popular demand, Susan Bratton. Susan is a sexpert, an author, a speaker, and she really helps women of all ages rediscover their passion. Susan's work comes from a very personal place in her own marriage, one that I know we can all relate to, and I think she'll probably share a little bit with us about tonight. We find Susan's candid talk about these very real issues refreshing and educational and informative and fun, and we can't wait to share her expertise with you tonight. Please, I have questions in advance from those of you who have emailed us those, and we're going to go through and answer every one of those. If you have additional questions, please feel free to enter them in the chat, and Susan and I will do our best to work those in as well. If we can't get to it, we promise to follow up and get an answer for you. I'm Heather Dizelle. I am with the JoyLux team. I'm thrilled to be here. And so with that, I would love to introduce you to our friend, Susan Bratton.
Heather, thank you so much. I'm so happy to collaborate with you, with JoyLux, with VFit. I am a giant fan, not only of VFit, which has changed my vaginal world, but also with you and Lauren VFit, because when I get behind products, I get behind the product because it's great, but I also get behind the company because it's great. And the customer care is more important to me than anything. And you have helped with my women fans and followers from all over the world with myriad questions very quickly and wonderfully. And you're so supportive. And I love your marketing. I love your product. I love your team. I love our relationship. And I really enjoy the opportunity to answer women's most private questions about intimacy, wellness, libido, desire, arousal, dating, obstinate husbands and boyfriends, and all kinds of things. And I want to say to everyone, welcome to the event. I'm going to ask you to do some interaction, and most importantly, happy Valentine's Day. I'm actually wearing a little heart with a ribbon around it that I used to have. Ice.com made me a jewelry line about 10 years ago, and I custom picked things that women would love to have that their husbands could buy for them, because my husband, Tim, we're going on 30 years this year of being together. He has what I call purchaphobia. And purchaphobia is where you're scared to buy something and make a decision because you don't want it to be wrong. And so I realized that that's actually pretty common for men generally, much more so than women. Women are kind of like, they know when they want something. And I think a lot of the women who are here are either people who are already VFit owners and they just want to hear my answers to all these interesting personal questions, or they're people who have heard through you or through me about VFit and what it can do, and they're ready to buy. And so it was great for me to be able to get to create products that men could purchase confidently to give their women. But today, what we're really talking about is what you can give yourself to feel more confident and healthy in your lady parts. And so before we get into the questions, which are so interesting, and I've got so many great things to share, it's always interesting when we can get together as a tribe of women and we can answer the real questions that they're kind of our secret burning questions, the things that are worrying us or causing us anxiety, or we don't quite see an answer to them. You can't get it on Cosmo or Self magazine. These are things that go beyond that. We're going to get very intimate tonight. And when we share, one of the things we find is that other women are asking questions that we maybe didn't even realize we wanted to know the answer to. So I think you're going to get a lot overall out of all of these questions. But before we start, I'd love to ask you whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, because we're actually live streaming on 2 platforms. We're so technical. I'd love for you to type in the comments. If you found us through JoyLux, you came to this event through Heather and Lauren and the JoyLux team. Or if you found us through me, if you're on my list or on my social feeds for Susan Bratton, and say where you're from. It's so fun to see where everyone is from. And let us know if you're already a VFit owner, or if you're VFit curious, VFit envious, VFit desired, if you're just VFit jonesing, or if you're just VFit not so sure. Tell me more. And before I get into the questions, I asked Heather, she wanted me to kind of do the questions. And I said, well, first, I have to talk about the VFit because, that is what we want to do, is we want to make sure that you get all your questions answered about the actual product itself as well. And what I really wanted to tell you about was why I love this product so much. And it starts with the fact that, I'll be 60 this year. And when I was about 55, I started having incontinence. I started having, really thinning vaginal tissue and painful sex and lack of lubrication. I had to use more and more lube. I was like, like squirting it on copious amounts. And I was like, this is crap. I want to have a juicy vulva. I want to have sex for the rest of my life. I'm a sexpert. My relationship with my husband keeps getting better. And I think if we take care of our lady parts and we kind of get over that hump that happens to us in perimenopause and menopause, or even post childbirth, if we can keep going and get through the roadblocks of what happens with our body and take care of our body, we can keep having deeply intimate connections that are, heart connected with our partners, and reboot our nervous systems and give us all kinds of good hormones. I mean, sex can do so much for us, but when it hurts, it's no fun. So I had started out doing things like CO2 lasers, where they stick this thing up inside your vagina and it goes pew, 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 and it lasers the inside of your vagina, your vaginal mucosa. And you have to do it 4 or 5 times. It's like a Fraxel laser you'd have on your skin where it's multi-pass. So you have to go damage yourself repeatedly to stimulate new tissue growth. My vagina would weep. And it was so painful to do those procedures. They say it's an in and out in your lunchtime treatment. Well, it might be in and out on their lunchtime treatment, but I had a painful vagina for 10 days afterward, and I had to do that over and over. And it was the best I had. The best thing that I could tell women to do was you can go on hormones, which a lot of women didn't want to do. And often that didn't even fix the problem. I was on bioidentical hormone replacement. I was literally putting estrogen cream in my vagina, and it still hurt. And so I went through all these procedures that, they use hormesis. They damage you so that your body repairs it. And when it repairs it, it comes back stronger. But it was so painful. And when I finally found VFit, it was the first time I found, and it's a do-it-yourself at-home vaginal rejuvenation device. And a lot of women don't want to go get treatments, and they don't want to do things that hurt, and they don't want to do things that damage. And what VFit is something that nurtures you while it fixes the problems. It helps women with so many things. Over 100 women have reported to me various things that they have loved about the VFit. Women from my vagina has almost grown shut. Like, I'm not sure I could get anything in there, and I'm starting to date again, and I don't know how I'm going to do this. Do I need to get dilators? Is that going to hurt? My vagina is so dry, it hurts when I walk, or I can't stand having to wear a pad all the time because I'm leaking urine. Or, God, what happened to my lubrication? I used to get so wet, and now I feel like my libido is diminished because my vaginal lubrication is gone. So all of these things are things that are problems that almost every woman has. Very few women escape it. You're not alone if you're suffering from any of them. Oh, here was an interesting one too, which Heather, you probably remember this one. One woman wrote to me that she never liked the smell of her vagina. It never smelled good to her. And when her husband would make love to her, she could smell herself on him afterward and didn't like it. And she went to the gynecologist and they were like, you don't have bacterial vaginosis. You don't have a yeast overgrowth. There's nothing we've cultured in your vagina. And she used the V-Fit for many of the other reasons I mentioned. And then she wrote to me and she said, the smell is gone. Why is the smell gone? What did the V-Fit do? And Heather, I remember you described it to me. Do you want to explain it?
Well, I think just the overall health of the tissue in the pelvic floor, which, restores us to where we once were. And I don't know what was driving the smell, but certainly it just gets you back to a healthy place again.
It definitely does. Our vaginal microbiomes are so delicate. And interestingly enough, they're starting to do some wide research on vaginal microbiomes, and they're finding that the lead good bacterias in different ethnic groups are different. That Latinx have a different microbiome than Caucasians, than Black women. And I think, over time that might change with more and more sexual partners and sharing of bacterias and things like that. But I saw this funny meme on Instagram the other day where a woman was like, I'm not sure he's worth risking my vaginal microbiome for. Like, a lot of times women report that their partners create dysbiosis for them. I had a woman who told me that one of the reasons she divorced her husband was that every time they made love, his semen just obliterated her vaginal microbiome. And she said chemistry was so off with him. There were so many things I didn't like, but one of my best things about getting rid of my ex-husband was my vagina is good now. I don't have a disruptive experience. So how does V-Fit handle all these things? Let me just give you let me call you up and give you the V-Fit story. One ringy dingy. We like to call each other. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Heather. So one of the things I like about this, and it was funny, a lot of guys are buying these for their wives on my list because I tell them it's like a do-it-yourself couples project. He should use his vacuum erection device to maintain his blood carrying capacity in his penis as he ages. And she should use her V-Fit to keep vaginal lubrication, thicker vaginal mucosa, reverse incontinence, and, just have a healthier microbiome. And so one guy said, well, I'm really disappointed because my wife hasn't used it yet. And I was like, dude, maybe you just need to show her how to turn on the buttons. I mean, seriously, sometimes all it takes is just daddy pressing the button and going, okay, so honey, you just do it like this. And then the light comes on and then you just stick it up inside until it goes off. And then I think she'll use it. And he wrote me back and he was like, that was exactly what was wrong. She just didn't know how to turn it on. Now, it's not difficult to turn on. It's press one button, and then you can press your desired, what's the right word I want for how many notches it goes up?
Your treatment time or your session.
Your treatment time. And then you can one more time and you get the red light. And what you're really getting is 3 modes with this beautiful device. The first is the red light. This is called photobiomodulation or low-level laser light therapy. And red light stimulates the mitochondria, which are the little batteries inside your cells that use the Krebs cycle to create energy, ATP. You energize the cells, which means they can multiply more. You've got about 7 layers of vaginal mucosa, and the vagina sloughs and builds its layers faster than any other system in the body from a mucosal system. And so you're always turning over vaginal mucosa, but as you age, it slows down. So this stimulates the new growth. One of the things I wear is a red hat, a capillus laser hat, to keep my hair growing out thick and prevent hair loss. It stimulates my follicular mitochondria. I sit in front of a red panel to get the red light on my skin, to stimulate the mitochondria on my skin for anti-aging. So the red light up inside your vagina is essentially working with that glycolic system to keep the biome in good shape, as well as thickening the tissue. And then the second thing that it has is warmth. The warmth feels so good. I predict that women's pleasure toys are going to begin having red light and warmth because VFit has led the way. I mean, those two things they're good for you and they feel great. And so the warmth helps to bring collagenation to plump up the tissue. You want to keep the tissue thicker, moister, plumper, and engorged, full of vascularization that brings blood flow to the vulva. Because when you have good blood flow, you get the blood flow during arousal, and then the vulva actually plumps up because you have erectile tissue, and that tissue plumps up and has more surface area. And then there's more surface area to feel more sensation of pleasure, to send more pleasure signals to your brain. So plumping, we want to plump everything. We want to plump our skin. We want to plump our vaginal mucosa. And then the third thing, which you can probably hear, I'm not sure if you can hear it on my microphone, is the vibrations. And there are essentially toning vibrations that are helping you with the loss of tumescence and strength of the bladder sling. And that's what helps with the incontinence. It's shoring up the systems up inside your vagina. So it's really 3 different technologies. And what's nice about it is that this is a beautifully made device. It's really smooth and it feels good going in. And even if you're one of the women for whom you feel that your vagina is super tiny and you can't even get a tampon in anymore, you can still lubricate this and you can get the tip in, and then you spend time really breathing out. What you want to do is you want to think about your vulva, or what I like to call your yoni. A yoni is a Sanskrit word in tantric lovemaking that stands for all of your female genitals. And the equivalent for your male-bodied partner is his lingam. So the yoni and the lingam, I think they're very pretty words. The yoni, what you want to do is you want to breathe out, you want to push out, you want to birth, you want to open, you want to breathe deep into your yoni. Get yourself relaxed and just put it in as far as it can go the first time and the second time and the third time. And pretty soon the vagina has unbelievable elasticity. Giant baby heads come out of it. It can absolutely accommodate the VFit device, and slowly you'll learn to open to it and you'll be able to welcome it in. And for those of us who actually feel like we have the opposite, where as we age, our vaginas, as the tissue thins with the loss of estrogen, the actual vaginal canal is normally collapsed shut. But when you age, the tissue gets so thin that it starts to open, and that's called vaginal laxity. And that's extremely common as well. And the downside is, if you're with a male-bodied partner, as he ages, his penis is atrophying or shrinking. We're all shrinking and desiccating, so we have to fight against that as much as we can in every area of our bodies. And so he's shrinking, and your vulva is getting bigger. And pretty soon you can't get a good grip on his penis, which means it doesn't feel as good for him and it doesn't feel as good for you. Because when you have orgasms, what your vagina is doing is it's having orgasmic contractions. It's got to get a grip. When it grips and then releases from the orgasm, that's when the pleasure, all of the hormones, all of the oxytocin and the feel-good feelings surge through your body. So if you notice that your orgasmic intensity is diminishing, one of the best ways to support it is to use the VFit. Now, before we get to the questions, I want to tell you one more thing I love about the VFit. I use this as foreplay done for me. Now, I make my husband give me so much foreplay. Literally, before I got on this live event tonight, I laid down on our bed in front of our fireplace. We have a fireplace in our bedroom because sexpert. And I laid down naked before I changed my Valentine's Day outfit for you guys. And he rubbed my belly with organic avocado butter. And he rubbed my mons with organic avocado butter. Because after this live event, I have a lovemaking date with him. So this morning, that was foreplay 1.0. Later, he's going to give me a yoni massage before we make love because I need a ton of warm up. And it's not just me, it's you. We need to teach our partners how to give us the stimulation we need to enjoy penetration completely. And, you know, they're ready to go. They get an erection and they're like, let's go, jump on. And you're like, but wait a minute, I'm way back here. I'm not even aroused yet. And one of the things I want to tell you is that this device, I love it. What it does is it engorges the upper inside area of the vagina such that when I make love with Sir Tim, when he's inside me, I'm already engorged. He can get the outside with his hands very easily, but the inside, it's hard to get plumped up before intercourse. Intercourse feels better, especially when I use my VFit the morning or the day of a lovemaking session with my husband. And we have to schedule sex because we're busy like you are. So I just pin it on the calendar. Baby, Thursday night, that's our night. We're making love. And then this morning, what did I do? I scrolled Twitter to see what crazy stuff is going on in the universe while I had my VFit and drank my latte. And it's just an absolutely wonderful experience. So there's so many benefits to this that I could not start this event with you today without the opportunity to just tell you how much I love this product, how much I've recommended it, and how many women have written to me and husbands and said, thank you. I trust you. When you tell me something's good, I believe you, and you're right again. So we have a special offer for you on this live event, and Lauren and Heather are so good to me. What they did was they made me a special page at joylux.com/Susan. And what they did was they gave me the opportunity. Where's my goodies? They gave me the opportunity to give you the Vaginal Replenishing Cream, which is a $68 bottle of the most wonderful product in the world. And you get this as a gift with your order when you go to joylux.com/Susan. And this is OBGYN formulated and tested. It's all natural ingredients. It's no phthalates, no fragrance, no fake fragrance, no perfumes, no glycol, no things that are going to disrupt the microbiome. Not only that, one of the things that I particularly like about this that I don't see anybody else doing is this has something called sea buckthorn oil in it. It has jojoba in it. It has some wonderful ingredients, vitamin E, very emollient. But sea buckthorn is an interesting thing. It's like the berry of the Tibetan Himalayas. It's a high mountain plant that has a particular omega fatty acid profile that for some reason the vajayjay just loves. Extremely emollient. If I were going to make a vaginal moisturizer, my go-to very first thing would be sea buckthorn. Sea buckthorn supports and encourages lubrication. And the interesting thing about lubrication of the vagina is that the vagina is not a glandular entity. It doesn't have glands that wet it. The way your vagina gets wet is by having your blood plasma, your blood come in through engorgement, through touching and stimulation and VFit. It comes down into your pelvic bowl, the blood flow. So, you know, if you're thinking at work, the blood flows in your brain. If you're digesting a meal, the blood flows in your abdomen. When you're making love, you got to get the blood flow in your pelvic bowl. And the pelvic bowl, as you age, you lose nitric oxide, which is the gaseous signaling molecule that shunts the blood where it needs to go. And so when you get engorged with the VFit, what's nice is you're getting that vascularization and that blood flow and that engorgement. And that way, from your blood plasma, the fluid seeps through the vaginal walls. The walls weep the fluid, the lubrication. And that's how you get your vagina to start being juicy again. And sea buckthorn is the best moisturizing omega profile fatty acid for vaginal lubrication. And that's what's in this. It smells wonderful. It's clear. It's clean. Boop, I dropped it on my floor. I got to aim better. I should have got it on my vagina. And so you get a beautiful bottle of this. I love the packaging. It's easy to use. It's a really nice, clean product. You get that with your VFit order. So I want to encourage you to take the chance and to try this product, because every time I'm sitting there in my bed, I just pop a towel down, put a little lubricant on, slide it in. And when it goes off, I'm all like, oh, I wish it would keep going. The good news is it's 10 minutes every other day for an 8 to 13 week protocol to rejuvenate, and then you can use it in maintenance mode. And the interesting thing is that it's one treatment of lasers which damages the VFit. That's the entire cost. Now, we have a question from Jennifer Parsons, who says she'd like to know if there are payment options. Heather, what can you tell me about payment options? What do we have?
Yes, there's a couple options on the site. I think Lauren is, she's losing power, I think, in part of it.
Oh,
so I
so
think
funny.
things are, yes, we do have payment options on the site, and there are several options where you can split it. We also have a membership program where you can pay over 6 months, and it starts at $169 and you pay over the course of 6 months. So there's several options. Jennifer, we're happy to help. If you want to reach out specifically, we're happy to talk you through everything.
Good. Thank you so much for letting me know that. Those are great questions, and keep the questions coming the whole time. We want to take your questions. So I think that's a good amount of background about the VFit. Was there anything you wanted to add? Did I miss anything?
You're hired. That's really impressive. See, this is why you're the sexpert. Thank you for that. I think that's really helpful. We have several folks in the comments who are saying they already have a VFit, and I think several questions about menopause. So if it's okay with you, and Jennifer, sorry, I don't know why your question is staying there. We're happy to help additionally, but I will kind of segue into some of the additional questions and we can go down our list.
Ready, ready, ready.
Okay. So I'm going to read this. These are straight from our customers here. I'm newly postmenopausal, and my husband's libido has slowed down, but not nearly as much as mine. Sometimes I think I'd be fine with never having sex again, but I do love the closeness I feel with my partner when we're intimate. What can I do to get in the mood when sex is one of the last things on my mind?
Sex is one of the last things on most of our minds. You are not unusual. Most women think they are unusual because of that. But what is really happening is that our male bodied partners are testosterone dominant. And so as soon as they get an erection, which they usually get one multiple times a day, if they're in good health, they're ready to go and they're ready to make love. But for us women, we need a lot of full body warm up. But really what we need first, and this is an interesting thing that people don't understand. Arousal is not started, does not begin until there's relaxation. Your turn on and desire has to sit in a warm bath of relaxation. You need your partner to hold you and to stroke you and to bring you into relaxation so that you can let down and let go and reconnect and connect hearts and lower your breathing and syncopate and look in each other's eyes and be like, oh, yeah, I do love you. So the technique that I like to offer is something called the Soulmate Embrace. It comes from one of my best-selling books, Sexual Soulmates, The 6 Essentials for Connected Sex. And the Soulmate Embrace is, I say it's the way that every woman has always dreamed to be held and has never been held. And the reason why is that often when our partner holds us, the minute they hold us and we go, they let go. But the Soulmate Embrace actually teaches them how to pull us tighter and then just be with us until things we want to say come up. And he listens or she listens until we get that off our chest. And then we settle again and they pull us a little closer. There's no rush, no hurry. You're held, you're safe, you're connected. And when you can have that kind of loving soulmate embrace, you can suddenly what'll happen is your mouth will start to water, your eyes may tear up a little bit, and that's actually your body letting down. Just like if you've ever nursed a child, when you hold the baby and the baby begins to suckle, you actually let down and your milk begins to flow. It's the same response. I think it's a prolactin response. And if you skip that step, you never begin the level of complete surrender to your relaxation that can begin to take your arousal up to the next level. So I created the Soulmate Embrace, and did we lose Lauren? Did her power go out?
She's with you. She put
She put it up. Okay,
Yep.
great. So I see it. Thank you, Heather. So you can download the Soulmate Embrace at soulmateembrace.com, and I have one page on there. It's like a dozen-page little PDF, and you can share it amongst friends. No worries. It's a free gift. But what I want you to do is take it to your male body partner and just take the one page that has the step-by-step directions, because they don't want to read the stories. They don't want to read the process. They don't want that. What a dude likes is a checklist. So I'm a sneaky little devil and I know what the dudes need. So the Soulmate Embrace has the step-by-step so he gets what he's going for. And then it's going to take you a couple of tries to actually be able to relax. I remember Isa Herrera, a girlfriend of mine who is a pelvic healer. She said the first time David and I tried it, oh my God, I was like, I just couldn't relax. It was like I had sewing machine needle legs. It was like I was all freaked out just trying to lie down with my husband. And they have a great relationship. He is a lovely man. And she said it was me. I just couldn't settle. And I was like, right. If you can't settle, you can't begin arousal at the level that is your sexual potential. And so this just brings couples closer together. It gives him this masculine kind of bear daddy leadership that you need to feel safe and secure and let go. So Soulmate Embrace is number one. And then number two, I have a second gift for you. It's called Arousal Secrets. And it's basically explaining to you the difference between your libido, which is your health, your desire, which is how you feel about yourself and how you feel about your partner, and your arousal. And your arousal ladder is basically a stair step that starts in relaxation. And I explain how to get up your arousal ladder so you can teach your partner what to do. Because we women have been living under the patriarchal view of foreplay and intercourse rather than the matriarchal way that our bodies need to feel desire. So when you say you wish you could feel more desire, you just need the tricks to get to it. And those two downloads will give you the tricks.
Thank you. Good one. The next one is, when we were younger, my partner and I had a great love life, but now I feel like we've fallen into a routine and sex is always kind of the same. What can we do to switch it up a little and make it more exciting again?
This is one of the most common questions I get. The monotony of monogamy. And interestingly, what people underestimate is women's appetite for variety, for novelty. We think it's, our horn dog husbands and boyfriends that are the ones that want to do all the kinky stuff. It's actually us. The most guys would be 89% completely satisfied with their sex life if you just hopped on their penis on their morning wood every morning and made love to them, and they could go off and do their work and be a winner and come home and you'd feed them. Like that is every guy's idea of awesome. The problem is that that's my and your idea of ho-hum boring. No foreplay, no arousal, like it just doesn't do anything for us. And the same old day in, day out. So I have two gifts for you for this one as well. The first one is that when you're trying to find new things to do, there's a couple of different strategies. One of them is sex positions. And believe it or not, there are some really good sex positions that take advantage of stimulating multiple erogenous zones at the same time during the position, as well as incorporating pleasure toys in the lovemaking. Some of them are oral pleasure and some of them are intercourse. And the thing that couples tell me, I do a lot of longitudinal, large research projects, sexual research projects, and couples report to me, both the male and the female, across the gender spectrum really, but almost everybody who follows me, the great majority is heterosexual monogamous couples. And what they say is they stink, like all the way at the bottom of the list of things they think they're good at in bed. Bottom of the list is incorporating pleasure toys into their lovemaking. So women have a toy that they use for solo pleasure, but couples aren't integrating the toy. And these positions integrate toys so you're getting multiple points of stimulation so you can become orgasmic, multi-orgasmic, massively multi-orgasmic, so you can have the 15 kinds of orgasms. That is your orgasmic potential. All women can have these orgasms. Orgasms are a learned skill. If you haven't had orgasms from penetration, you might want to work on that one because it's simply learning how to do it. Some women come by these things naturally, some women do not. And so there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your vulva. Vulvas come in snowflake varieties, every permutation you could possibly imagine, and they're all absolutely gorgeous and perfect. There is nothing wrong with you, and you can learn how to do this. And it simply takes practice. And when you begin as beginners together, couples that play together stay together, especially in the bedroom. And when you say, let's try this headboard daddy, let's try the chingalinga, you just start having fun again and the boredom goes away. And that's a very, very important aspect of it. Another fun thing that I like to encourage women to do is to wear lingerie and super slutty stripper shoes in the bed. You don't have to walk in the things, like take them off to go to the bathroom. But a lot of I used to think when I was in my 30s that wearing lingerie was degrading. And my husband was always like, oh, I wish you would. He bought me so many things. And I was like, I'm not doing it. Now he showers me with lingerie to the point where I say to him, I will wear lingerie for you anytime you ask. I'll wear whatever you ask. Just give it to me and I'll put it on. Just tell me what you want me to wear. It makes him so happy. And what I've learned is it makes me feel sexy and beautiful. The benefit is that it hides parts that maybe you don't, although I wish you would love every part of yourself. I understand that our estrogen dominant women, we are cruel and judging to ourselves. I mean, I think you should just go for it because it ain't going to get better. It's just going to get worse. So why are you holding back from pleasure by worrying about how you look when your partner loves you how you are, right? But lingerie is fun. And then the last thing that I want to give you is another book. It's called Dirty Talk. And the problem with dirty talk is that people have only, if they've seen it at all, seen the kind of talk that is in pornography. I am not a fan of pornography personally. I think my fantasies are much better. And that is made for men and it's not made for us. There are some things that are, but what I like is there are 5 different kinds of dirty talk in that book. And it's how to talk dirty without being weird or yucky. And there are ways to do adoration and worship and to use beautiful terms like yoni and lingam. And so in Dirty Talk book, what you can do is begin to say some sexy things to each other. It might start as texting, it might start as whispers, but when your partner is encouraging you and telling you what a great job you're doing and how sexy you are, it emboldens you to take your pleasure at a more lusty level. And I really recommend you try that because you can learn some really great phrases. I have written things down that are done for you. It's like not even Mad Libs. I just tell you what to say. And I think you will really enjoy them. And you can coach your partner about the ways you'd like them to talk dirty to you. When it's really sexy talk, sensual talk, pillow talk, it's just called dirty talk because that's what people call it, but it's not dirty. So those are a couple of things that make it a lot more fun and break through the monotony of monogamy.
And Susan, to follow on to all that, someone popped a question in.
Great.
Just really who has time for a lot of that? Like a lot of these things are talking about, multiple steps and foreplay. And so someone's just saying like, I don't really want it to begin with. And then how do I find the time for all that?
Well, there's a couple of things. The first is that the reading about things, and that gets your juices flowing. And then talking to your partner about them, looking forward to it, planning on it, and then trying it. And you can outsource things to your partner and let them do the heavy lifting and say, I'd be open to trying this sex position. Yob yum. It looks so good, the lotus sex position, but I'd really like you to figure it out and just tell me what to do. I want to try some new things, but frankly, I'd like you to take me on the erotic adventure. So those are a couple of options for you, is to enjoy the journey, not the destination, and just outsource it.
There you go. Outsourcing. I like it. Delegating. I'm 58 years old. The wrinkles and extra pounds I've gained during menopause have lowered my body confidence a lot. We were just talking about this. I know this is the body I've got and I try to take good care of it, but how can I feel sexier and more confident in my own skin?
Yep. So it's never going to get better. You're going to get uglier and older and you're going to die. And every moment that you worry about how you look, you cheat yourself of pleasure. You're holding yourself up to some image that is unattainable. And that's not fair for you to do to yourself. That's hard on you. Men don't see our wrinkles and our cellulite and our poochy tummies and our saggy breasts and our big wide butts like we do. Estrogen makes us very judgy and critical. It's not the same for your partner. When they look at you, they see the woman they love, the woman they want to connect with and be close with, the woman they want to have pleasure with. And every time it's a mindfulness practice. You're caught in a groove of negative self-talk. And every time you start to think those things, I want you to just change the radio station in your head to KLUV, self-love. Just push it out of your head and return to the sensations that are pleasurable and joyful that you're co-creating with your partner. Get out of your head and into your body. Cover things up with lingerie. Turn down the lights. Use candlelight. Candlelight is amazing. So's red light. A lot of times we make love by firelight or by our red light panel. It makes you look super pretty. So work around, compromise, overcome, and work on your mindfulness for self-love in your sensual life, because your sensuality and your connection with self and other is one of the most beautiful gifts that you have as a human being. The love of family, the love of friends, good food, your health, your intimacy. I mean, after that, the list gets pretty short. So why are you shortchanging yourself over the fact that the skin bag you have isn't perfect? The skin bag we all have is crappy. The skin bags are kind of a bummer situation, but nothing can be done. So why bother worrying?
Good reminder. I'm in perimenopause and feeling so moody. How can I help my partner understand how I'm feeling and get his support through this crazy emotional roller coaster?
Yep. The other technique that I think is really, really important that comes from the 6 essentials of connected sex in sexual soulmates is a technique that I like to teach people called the Sexual Soulmate Pact. It's another download for you. This is Valentine's Day, and I've got a box of chocolates for you, basically, and all these wonderful techniques. These are needle mover techniques. And of all the things that I teach, there are 2 things I teach that I think move the needle the most in relationship. One is a technique I have called my relationship magic, and this, the Sexual Soulmate Pact. And it is essentially how to tell your partner exactly what you need in every moment so that you can feel more sexual and feel more turned on. And women say, but wait a minute, I don't even know what I want. I just know what I'm getting isn't it. Or if I tell my partner something, it hurts his ego, so I'm not going to give him any feedback. And what I can tell you is that the Sexual Soulmate Pact is the answer to both of those problems. The first thing that it does is it teaches you that you live in an animal body. We are Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens, you're not sitting at the base of the tree of life eating an apple, looking up in the tree with all the animals, the dolphins and the whales and the lions and the tigers and the ponies and the puppies and the great apes, the branch with the orangutans and the bonobos and the chimpanzees and the Homo sapiens. You're on that tree. And you live in an animal body. It loses sleep. It has hormone issues. It gets hungry. It gets bitchy. It gets cranky. It gets stressed out. That's what you live with. You live with the fact that you really are just a simple little creature on the planet for a very short time. And add to the impact of that you are hormonally cyclical. You are, as we are, women who run with the wolves and howl at the moon. We are moon women. So our desires ebb and flow. So what we want today is not what we wanted yesterday, is not what we want tomorrow, is not what we want in 5 minutes. You start out saying, I need a soulmate embrace. You gotta get me over the line here. Like, I want to be close to you, but I'm so bitchy right now. Like, I'm like miserable. Help me. What do you want, babe? Neck rub, foot rub, belly rub. What do you need? What do you need? You need to listen to her. She knows, and she'll tell you every time you ask her, if you listen. And so once you use the soulmate embrace, you teach your partner to be hungry for your feedback. He wants, or they want, to know what you want. They learn, this is what men want. So if you have a male body partner, which is most typical, men want to win. They want to be winners. They want to do a good job. I don't care what the job is. They take out the trash. They kill the ants. They just get rid of the mice. They do all the icky shit. So they will definitely do what you need to do to become closer to them. They just need to know what it is. And what the Sexual Soulmate Pact does is it circumvents their ego and gets them hungry for your minute-by-minute feedback, which begins to fuel a dialogue in the bedroom, which gets you tapping in and telling him what you need in the moment, which starts to get you into relaxation, into the bowl of relaxation, so that you can begin to go up the arousal ladder. It's a ladder. And that technique transforms relationships like no other thing I can tell you. I spent, as a trusted hot sex advisor to millions, I've spent 15 years creating pleasuring techniques. But I realized very early on that all the orgasm techniques in the world don't matter if you can't know and ask for what you want and have your partner be like, thank you, baby. How's this? Does it feel better now? How do you like that? Lighter or harder? Softer? Quicker? Right? So he's like, dialing you in. The sex gets better, you have more fun, and mama is happy.
Love it. Let's see. I have about 3 left, so we'll see if we can power through a few of these.
I'll go faster.
We're in our early 50s, and my partner has occasional erectile dysfunction. So far, it's affected our sex life a little bit, but I'm worried it might get worse as we get older. Do you have any recommendations?
I totally have the answer. First thing is that I've got one right here. Hang on. Let me show this to you. So for years now, I've been wanting something like the V-Fit for women because what I have is a V-Fit for men. It's just an innie instead of an outie, basically. And here's what it looks like. It's called a vacuum erection device, AKA penis pump. Over 30,000 copies of my book called Pump Guide, which we're going to put a link up for you so you can read about it with your husband. The Pump Guide teaches men how to use a vacuum erection device. And a vacuum erection device, I just happen to have a vacuum erection device here because I was talking about it on my last event for men. It comes with a little cord and it pumps up this little chamber. He puts his penis inside here and pumps it up. It draws the blood into his penis in the cylinder. He holds that blood in his penis. And when he's done, he puts a little constriction ring. This is called a constriction ring around it to trap the blood in there. And what he does is he's actually doing tiny little stimulation of new tissue growth, increasing blood carrying capacities, which is what he needs for a firm erection. As men age and they get plaque in their penises and they lose tissue, they have trouble having a firm erection. And the penis pump is a fantastic device. That is a medical device. I only use a particular brand called the Whopper. I named it that because a lot of guys use it to reestablish lost, tissue loss. We lose tissue, they lose tissue. I told you that earlier. And I have over 3,000 men have purchased a penis pump, the Whopper product, which I have a partnership with the Dr. Joel Kaplan company. That's who I work with. They are as good at customer care as Joylux is. And they're a mom and pop company. They're celebrating their 30th year in business. This works and it gets him that blood carrying capacity and it helps get rid of the plaque and it helps improve his erectile function. If the pump isn't enough and he's a little further gone, if you will, then I recommend Gainswave treatments. Gainswave treatments are acoustic therapy that goes into the penis and stimulates new tissue growth. And there's also something called the P shot, which he can get, which uses healing factors from his own blood into the penis to stimulate more tissue growth, veins, arteries, nerves, tissue, erectile function. This can all be stacked like a biohacking stack. They can be done together. You can try one, try the next, try the next. They're absolutely fantastic technologies. And I had so many solutions for men, and I never had anything until Colleen made the V-Fit. And so I'm very happy to tell you that there are a lot of couples who actually, he pumps while she uses her V-Fit, and they watch TV in bed together. Because once you realize that this is what we like to call hashtag self-care down there, and there's things that can be done at home for men and women, and couples take their sexual health seriously and do these procedures and these treatments and use these technologies, then you see the commitment to your intimacy and you're supporting each other in good health.
I'm a single mom and my kids are out of the house now, just busting
Good.
right into the next question here.
Yep.
I'm starting to think about dating again once
Yep.
it's actually safe to go out and mingle, of course.
Mhm.
And I'm very nervous. What do you
Mhm.
recommend for an older woman who hasn't been on a first date in decades?
There are, I have a link for you to a short video series. I have a website called betterlover.com. And I have something called midlife dating techniques. And I give you a very specific list of things to do and not do when you're getting yourself back out in the market. I can tell you that there are so many men sitting at home wishing they knew you, with love in their hearts to give. So many men who are lonely and want to love you. And all you have to do is get yourself out there and learn a couple of the things I teach in those links, and you'll have so many men. You really will. So you're going to have fun. You're going to learn. You're going to grow. It's going to be intellectually stimulating and sometimes infuriating, just like life. Mazel tov.
I can't wait till we can all get out again. That's the first trick.
Well, and a lot of it is doing things over video. I have 8 sexy online dating ideas, how to have a date on Zoom or Facebook or Messenger or FaceTime or whatever. So that is also something wonderful.
Love it. Vaginal dryness, and I saw this come up in our questions tonight too, is making sex really uncomfortable for me. I've tried a host of lubes, sounds familiar, but most of them get tacky after a couple of minutes and the dryness returns. How can I bring back the moisture and enjoy intimacy again? I know we've touched on it a little bit, but any other thoughts?
Yes, absolutely. Obviously the VFit. Taking nitric oxide supplements, I make one. It's called Flow. And this will improve your vaginal lubrication, your ability to be engorged so that you can get all the erectile tissue in your vulva full of blood. It improves blood flow. And it is, when you get that blood flow going, you're going to know it right away. There are women who email me. One woman said, I've been taking Flow 10 days and I'm so moist down there that I feel like I'm turned on all the time. So it gets your moisture back, the combination of VFit and Flow. And if you can do it, either bioidentical hormone replacement to build that tissue up. If you don't want to do that, you can always use a plant-based bi-est cream and a DHEA cream intravaginally. That's another option for you. They don't have the bad estrogen, which is estrone. They have the estradiol and the estriol. So they outnumber the bad. They actually keep you from getting breast cancer, which is nice. But nitric oxide, people think it's always their hormones. It's not. It's nitric oxide loss. That's why I make it, because people are like, oh, geez, I didn't realize how low I was. I started topping up and now I'm juicy again. So that, and then finally, as far as lubricants, what I like to recommend is organic sweet almond oil or organic avocado oil, a particular brand called Hobie. I'm coming out with my own avocado oil and avocado butter. Organic, because if you wouldn't put something in your mouth, if you wouldn't eat it, you should never put it in your vagina. If you can't drink it or eat it, it's not a good lube. And the thing about lubricants is that to be a lubricant, technically be a sexual lubricant, it's an FDA class 2 certification you have to get. And the problem with that is it has to have preservatives in it. And so you're putting preservatives in your vaginal mucosa, which is why I just go straight up nut oil. But I don't recommend just getting like coconut oil out of a jar like that you would cook with, because the issue with that is that for some women, it creates a little sugariness to their vaginal microbiome. So if you have candidiasis, candida yeast as an issue, or bacterial vaginosis as an issue, I'd stay away from the coconut generally, and I would go with avo or sweet almond, and I would go with organic. Look. If you can do that, you can put it in your vagina and use it liberally. Just, as much as you need, reapply. Don't wait till it hurts. Keep it going before you need it.
Last one more. To have no problems reaching orgasm during intimacy, but lately it takes much longer to get there if it happens at all. It's so frustrating. Yep. Anything I can do to bring the big O back?
Yes. So you're suffering from sensation loss. It's very, very common. I've got a link for you about something called an O shot. The O shot or orgasm shot is a PRP that's taken, it's your own blood taken out. They spin it in a centrifuge. They pull off the red and white blood cells, and they're left with something called the fibrin-rich matrix that has healing and growth factors. If you feel like you're taking Flow and you're using a VFit and you're still struggling to get over the climax, then you probably have a fair amount of desiccation and tissue loss in the clitoral structure, which, as you know, is the glands, the shaft, the arms, and the legs. There's a droopy little thing that goes right over the top of your vagina, and all that is your clitoris, and it starts to lose tissue mass, just like what the Gaines wave does, and helping stimulate new tissue growth for men. The O shot is literally with lidocaine. You don't even feel it, injected from your own body, put right back into your body in a concentrated amount in your clitoris, which is a spongy tissue. It soaks it up, and then it builds new tissue, and you get back sensation. So if flow doesn't help you, the organic nitric oxide supplement, and you're still struggling with VFit, because VFit is really an intravaginal device, it's not necessarily hitting the clitoral structure. It's hitting some of it from the inside out, but the O shot itself goes right into the clitoris and beefs it back up again. So you get a nice clitoral erection. So you've got a lot of surface area sending those signals to the brain that let you have the orgasm. Also try a bigger vibrator, like a magic wand that delivers heady stimulation. You just might need a little more stimulation too.
Once again, you've done it. You've completed our list. Amazing.
Well, and did I do it? What time is it? I can't see without
literally on the button. I think we're okay. Maybe
hour.
1 minute late. That's pretty impressive. So thank you for educating all of us once again, Susan, and sharing all your Valentine's tricks. Thanks for everyone who joined us. If you have any other questions, let us know. We're happy to pass them on to Susan and get you some answers. But in the meantime, happy Valentine's Day. We know you have a hot day tonight, so we don't want to keep you.
First, I gotta go make some salmon cakes. I gotta feed him before he makes love to me.
Priorities. Good.
Yep.
All right.
Heather, thank you so much.
Everyone.
I appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who came and everyone who watches. And I'm here for you. Heather's here for you. Let us know how we can support you. It is what we love to do. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thanks, Susan. Have a good night, everyone.